Coach Helfrich, we'll begin with you.
Well, thank you. This is our 15th opening statement of the postseason, so we'll keep it brief. But very excited, obviously, to be a part of college football history and representing the University of Oregon, the Pac-12 conference, and certainly kind of West Coast football in a lot of ways. Tremendous honor to be up here with Coach Meyer, a legend in our game, a guy that's done it many times and had a tremendous amount of success. And congratulations to Ohio State and everything they've accomplished. We're ready to go. You know, enough talking and questions and answers and flashbulbs, and our guys are excited to compete.
Coach Meyer.
Ditto. I do want to thank the Anatole Hotel and Dallas, Texas, and this has been outstanding as far as a trip. You know, I always wondered when I first heard about the playoffs, how in the world would this work? And between the College Football Playoff Committee, all the people that did all this work, and then obviously Jerry Jones Stadium, and it's been a great trip for our players. Also, I do want to recognize Mark and the job that Oregon, a program that I know very well, studied them for many years, and have tremendous respect for really Eugene, Oregon, the way they handle their business and the way they coach, obviously. So this is a great matchup. It's college football history. It's a game that I've devoted a good portion of my life to, and same with our coaches, and now our players can say they played in the first college football playoff and college playoff national title. So it's something we take very serious, and we're very honored to be here.
Thank you both. It's time for us to have our question and answer portion. We do have 4 microphone holders, so if you could get your hand up, we'll try to get through as many questions as we can. Give us your name and affiliation before you give your question, please. We'll start right over here on the corner. Dennis.
Dennis Dodd, CBSSports.com. For both coaches, do you think the new NFL evaluation rules for the draft will help underclassmen in general, just make better informed decisions?
I'm not aware of the new rules. Is there?
Well, I think just of how how they're disseminating the information is a little bit different than it's been in the past, and it's probably a good thing in terms of limiting it's basically you have the ability to be drafted in this round, or stay in school, and percentage-wise, it's a good thing. That's at the bottom line. Is exactly what you said. Is getting those guys the right information, the best information available. Excuse me. They used to give 90 first-round grades and 90 second-round grades, and that's tough to have. So just getting those guys the best information, and then trying to talk to real live bodies, real live decision makers, whether it's GMs, coaches, etc.
Go next, right here to Tony.
Tony Barnhart, SEC Network, Urban, right over here. You've been in this position before. You've won a couple of national championships. When you took your time away from the game and then came back to coaching, did you feel confident that you'd be back here again?
Well, I don't think so. I think I just was obviously chomping at the bit to get back in it. But to sit there and say, well, I thought that we could somehow get back to the national title, it's everybody's dream and goal, but it's very complicated, and everything has to align perfectly for this to happen. So, no, that never really crossed my mind. When it really crossed my mind is when I had the ability to go watch Notre Dame against Alabama in the one in Florida, the national championship game, and I was there with ESPN at the walk on that field. And that's the day that I sent that text out to the entire team, every support staff member, and the chase is on. Because you almost forget it's a time warp, like this week is for Oregon and Ohio State, that these players and coaches will someday, because that's why I'm a big picture freak in our house and office, where all of a sudden you just sit there and stare at that picture and you remember what a great experience it was, because it goes so fast. And that was the moment, Tony, that I thought that's the driving force why we get up every day, and I just wanted to somehow share that experience with our players, and now we are.
Right up here in front.
Stephen Alexander, Portland Tribune. Mark, have you had any conversation through the last month or through the season with Chip Kelly, and just about how you're doing and just talking to him?
just about how we're doing in terms of, we talk, I mean, all the time, a lot of text messages during the season kind of is the most common form of communication constantly. And I would say zero on the topic of football. And just, a lot of personal back and forth with a bunch of those guys and with him first and foremost in that, in the Philly crew. But just a personal stuff. Yeah.
We're going to take one in the back.
Jake Zivin, KZI-TV for Urban. What specific changes have you guys made in your preparation to prepare for Oregon's tempo? Talking to some of your players yesterday, it sounded like you've been doing a little bit of different things at practice tempo-wise.
Well, without getting into too much detail.
Be specific, please.
Next question. We have worked very hard on it, and I think the culture that Oregon's created is something I've studied in great detail. And I say culture because that's what it is. Ohio State has this culture, and so does Oregon, and so do all the great programs. Programs without culture, that's when you start to see failure. So it's driven. I think there's a misunderstanding of their culture where they play fast, they do everything fast, the way they handle their business, and that's something that we've beaten into our players, or not beaten in, but hard conversation. Also, the fine line in this is real. This is our 22nd week of football. How do you get a team ready? The good thing is it's not completely foreign to our players because we operate at a good tempo as well. But this one's different. We have the shot clocks up. We have a lot of emphasis about defeating the demon that takes place when fatigue takes over, and that's real. And that's something that we've addressed really hard. But ultimately, it comes down to those young guys out there playing on tomorrow night.
We're going to take our next question from the very far right to you, gentlemen.
Chase Goodbread with NFL.com. This is for Coach Meyer, just because I had a chance to ask Coach Helfrich the same thing yesterday. Coach, with the game being later into the month now, it's just 72 hours before the NFL underclassmen deadline, whereas on the old system, those kids would have had a week or more to finalize that decision. Would you like to see that deadline pushed back, or are you okay with where it is?
I probably would. This year we're unique. We don't have that issue. Last year we had two guys. One year I remember at Florida we had 12 players send out their paperwork, and it was after the 08, I believe, or 09. It was after 09, and that destroyed, that can really hurt a program. You lose 12 guys, and we lost 6 that day, if I remember, and that hurt us a little bit. So I just think that whole process, I think everybody's trying to do the right thing. I've been involved in those conversations, and I still think when you see as many underclassmen not get drafted and their careers just ripped apart, that's you need to keep evaluating this. And it's not right yet. But once again, that's not an attack on anyone because everyone's trying to do the right thing. So I've given zero thought to that because we have 2 players that told me a long time ago they're coming back. It was Taylor Decker and there's another one. I forget. Who was that? Adolphus Washington, and they should come back. I agreed with them. They just told me. I didn't have any conversation with them. So if we were in that situation, you would like to have more space, more time. So I think now that Thursday is a playoff, they should readdress that and move it back a little bit.
Coach Helfrich?
He said he just wanted Coach Meyer's input.
Sorry.
We talked yesterday.
Got it. Over here on the left.
Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Urban, I imagine that ranking national championships is a little like ranking your kids. When you went to Florida, though, you didn't have an emotional tie until you got there. You're in Ohio, and what would it mean? Is it possible to describe what it would mean to win a national championship for Ohio State?
I had a very emotional tie, Florida. The tie, I know your question, but to say that we didn't have an emotional tie, a very strong emotional tie to Florida and those players and really the community that we became a part of. Obviously, when you grow up a Buckeye and you grow up in the great state of Ohio, played high school football there, played college football there, that is big. I think everyone's dream is somehow, especially if you have a great experience growing up, which I can't imagine having a better one, in Ashtabula, Ohio, and with great fans still, great every year I try to go back and do the best I can to help because it's a great place, and I couldn't be more honored to be from be more honored to be from Ashtabula House. So there is a strong sentimental feeling. Just once again, we're work at Mach speed, so there hasn't been a whole lot of reflection time yet, but it would be great to win one for the state of Ohio.
Right here in the middle.
Todd Porter from the Canton Repository. Urban, the last couple of weeks have referred to these sorts of games where you're on the stage and you tell your players to take their best shot. Do you go into this game with that mentality in terms of calling plays the same way to sort of drill that into them as well?
Absolutely. There's never a game you don't want to take your best shot, but this one, you try to paint the stage so they're not shocked when they step in the arena, because it is going to be, the Sugar Bowl was incredible, and this is even ratcheted up a little bit more. So we talk quite often about when you have that opportunity to step in a batter's box, you get one swing. You step in a prize fight, you get one swing, and the great champions don't miss. And that's a mentality that we've preached for many, really forever. That's the way we train you. That's to be prepared when that swing, that opportunity arises to make that play. You be ready. And so yes, we've really hammered that real hard with our players.
Back over here on the right.
Rusty Miller, Associated Press. For both coaches, you have a lot of young players going to be playing tomorrow night, and both of you also you're going to have some young players who are not able to play tomorrow night. Could you, without just going beyond tomorrow's game, could you talk a little bit about the future of your program and how bright it must be with all the young players both of you have?
Well, yeah, I think the first part of that is you get inside there, and we're going to be inside the stadium today, and a lot of our veteran guys have been here before, having played here before, have seen the giant screen and everything that's great about AT&T Stadium, and get the oohs and ahs out of the way today, so that doesn't take place tomorrow night. And then, yeah, we're obviously very excited about our future. Things are great, both from a football standpoint and athletic department standpoint at the University of Oregon. Rob Mullins has done a great job, and then also university-wise, I mean, we're the best, most diverse, biggest University of Oregon that's ever existed, and we think those things, are certainly they happen together, and so we are proud to be ambassadors for our university, and great things are happening in all phases.
Back over here to the left.
Ryan Thorburn, the Register Guard. Mark, when you think back to 5 or 6 years ago, whatever it was, when you were getting ready for spring ball in Oregon or at Colorado, how well did you know Chip Kelly at that point? And do you ever think about how life changed when you moved back to Oregon and made that move?
Oh yeah, I've had a lot of dumb luck and just outright luck in my career in a lot of ways, and I think that happens in this profession. But I'd known Chip briefly. We'd kind of crossed paths a few times in terms of getting together and talking football. I knew obviously a lot more guys on the Oregon staff that had been there for forever, some guys that are still here. And so it was I would say a professional relationship at best at that point, and then got to know him obviously intimately over the past several years.